And this is a little bit of a trick question. Do we want a strong Jesus or one who can't even get past a locked door? American Christianity, many large segments of it are captivated by the idea of a strong, powerful Jesus. Religion scholars have coined the term muscular Christianity. It's not a one-to-one. It doesn't actually, this picture's like fine. There are a lot of people who'd be fine with it. But muscular Christianity just means like just a powerful, they also talk about a masculine Christianity. It's like we really want a strong Jesus. And yet, paradoxically, ironically, the Jesus as it's imagined in that theological system is really impotent, can't do much, is really dependent on you. The most that this Jesus can do is come up to that wall and knock sort of feebly, "Hello, can you let me in? Is anyone there?" And if you don't open your heart to Jesus, I tried, I'm sorry. And he walks away. They are incompatible, and yet this is the trick question of it. There are a lot of Christians in America who want both, who put these two totally incompatible images together. One of the things I love about the Lazarus story, and one of the things I love about our Lutheran theological tradition when it's at its best, is that it does not succumb to this false choice, which is really both and, neither or, at the same time. We have a different conception of Jesus. And where do we get this conception? From the Bible, conveniently enough, which is just like, great, who would have thought? This is, I'm not an art historian, but I just realized as I was putting this slideshow together, I sort of coincidentally keep going back to the same artist, not on purpose. This comes from the Brooklyn Museum of Fine Art has posted some things online. Others have come from just like around the internet, different places. I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong. His name is James Tissot. Are there art historians here? I don't know. James Tissot. He's a late 19th century artist, and he just painted these like really representative images of scenes from the Bible. Really good, like that really sort of capture what actually you would find if you went to read the story. So this is, of course, that moment, Jesus wept. And this is, I think, what Jesus's true strength looks like. There are a lot of articles, and now there's a new book that's making the rounds on media that talk about young men in America today and the crisis that they're facing. And there's the loneliness epidemic. I don't know if you read it, if you're on this side of the newsreels. Crisis of masculinity, male loneliness epidemic, on and on. There's all this stuff. And of course, in response to this, or at the root of this, there's a huge media industry that's targeted at our boys that is putting forward a certain sort of idea of what masculinity looks like and what strength looks like and all this stuff. And the thing that I am struck by over and over and over whenever I bump into content like this is how brittle that version of strength actually is, how anxious it is, how insistent it is on hiding. It has to hide behind bluster and bluff and a mask. And I think true strength, for example, to use a scenario, when I was a kid, if you wanted to talk to a girl when you were going to a middle school dance, you had to go talk to her by the lockers in the hallway at your middle school. And that meant, as opposed to now, when they just like, which one did I lose? I have two microphones. As opposed to now, they just like DM each other through the video game they're playing, or they text, or they Snapchat, or some digital with the comfort of this screen in between them. I had to walk directly up to my wife and say, "Would you like to go to dinner with me?" And she said, "Not tonight." That is vulnerability, and it hurt, and it's a little embarrassing, but that's strength, right? And strength is not immediately turn around and say, "Well, fine, I don't want to go to dinner with you either. That's trying to like cover up the wounded ego. That's not strength at all. That's whatever. Anyways, so we see that happening more and more and more in American Christianity, talking about a strength that's really an anxiety, that's really a fear of vulnerability, that's really an unwillingness to stand on your feet and say something that opens you up to criticism or rejection or in any way makes you vulnerable. Well, here we have Jesus. Jesus could have walked into this scene and the people, Martha says to him, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. And he could have responded, hold on, you don't even know what I'm here to do, right? He could have lashed back, recoiling at that sort of criticism or whatever that was, anything that could have hurt him in his heart. Instead, Jesus sits down with them and he weeps.